Okay, hi everyone. This is Daryl here. I'm gonna do this explainer video because a client actually asked us what are the risks when buying a property in Bangkok, and I felt that this actually would end up as a really long answer to his question. So I think I should actually list down the risks which property investors, when you purchase a property in Bangkok, you should be taking note of. Uh, do know that I have never mentioned that Bangkok property investment will always be smooth sailing. We as investors of overseas properties, we must always mitigate the risk. We must always understand the risk. And if let's say we are comfortable with the risk, then we proceed uh, to get into this property investment. Uh, Risks are across the board, so there are no investment that has no risk. Okay, so the word investment comes with an element of risk already. Yeah, so I mean, I've even heard of people where they put the money in the bank, and then the bank uh, experienced a bank run, and then their money was lost as well. So anything has risk. Buying a property in Bangkok also has risk, but here are how you can mitigate the risk and what are the risks involved. Okay, so just a bit about us. We always do this introduction in the beginning of all our videos, all our explainer videos. So we have been dealing with Bangkok properties since 2012. Our clients come from China, Hong Kong, Singapore, Japan, Malaysia, Indonesia, and the rest of the world. So we have this closed group. If you guys are interested in joining this Facebook closed group, what you can do is that you can just hop onto this link. You need to send in a request and we will add you in. Currently, there's about 1,500 odd members. This group has been around for a very long time. We just started our Facebook page, so you can like us at this page. Then any new updates, property news with regards to Bangkok property and everything, you get first-hand notice of it. And recently, we just started our YouTube channel. I think just a couple of months only. So if you're not subscribed yet, you're watching this video on YouTube, do subscribe. There's a subscribe button somewhere. I'm not so familiar with YouTube yet. So there's somewhere down there, there's this button called subscribe. Just click there, then whenever we post new videos, you get to know of it. Okay, so let's move on to the risks. I have divided the risks into risks that can be mitigated and the risks that cannot be mitigated. Okay, so the very first risk, right, that you must accept when you purchase Bangkok property is exchange rate risk. Okay, so currencies fluctuate. So like for example, if you're in Hong Kong and you want to buy like a Bangkok property, uh, you have to transfer money from Hong Kong into Bangkok. Then in Thailand, the bank will actually do the exchange, and then uh, you will settle a certain portion of that property. So it has to be your own foreign currency going in. You can't mitigate this risk by changing Thai baht and then holding it in at home in Hong Kong. You can't do that. Okay, so you must always pay your down payment or your final payment in Hong Kong dollars or whichever currency that from whichever country that you are from. So if you're in Singapore, then you must pay with Sing dollar. You're in Malaysia, you must pay with Malaysian ringgit. I mean, you can pay any currency except Thai baht. Okay, so let's take a look at currency fluctuations. Some of my clients, right, they were actually they were from Hong Kong. I mean, they are from Hong Kong, and then they bought some Thai property. And at the point in time, right, the Thai baht was exceptionally strong. So when they made a change, they actually had to pay more Hong Kong dollar to purchase Thai baht. And if you take a look at the currency fluctuation for the last 1 year, which is the 52-week range, the Hong Kong dollar to Thai baht as of today, currently, which is 4th of September. So for the last 365 days, right, or 52 weeks, right, there is actually an 8% range for the Hong Kong dollar to Thai baht. So imagine, I mean, for Sing dollar, there's also a 4.8% range. It's about 5%. Okay, if you compare that to 2016 condo prices, rose 4.7%. Effectively, if you had bought at the absolute lowest, means you bought Thai baht or you made the transfer in Hong Kong at the absolute lowest, and then after that, for whatever reason, right, eventually the currency fluctuated by 8% or even 4.8%, then even if your condo price rise by 4.7%, right, you will still be in the red. I mean, it's paper loss, but it's still, your so-called earnings, right, can be eroded. Because of the manner of which we have to transfer foreign currency into Thailand, this exchange rate risk, right, is very difficult to mitigate. It's not like, for example, if you're buying an Australian property or a property in the United Kingdom, then you say, oh, now I feel that the pound is low, so I buy more, and then I keep it in my like let's say I'm from Singapore, I feel that the pound is low or the Australian dollar is low, so I buy Australian dollar and UK pound and keep it with me. Then when the time comes for me to pay the down payment or pay certain payment for my property, then I take out my pound and I take out my Australian dollar, right, and I make the payment. But in Thailand, right, you can't do that because you need to do telegraphic transfer for your own for foreign currency into Thailand, so that you can receive this foreign exchange transaction. You can mitigate a little bit in a sense that you can feel that if you feel that Thai baht is very, very low, you can actually open a bank account over there, and then after that you do the telegraphic transfer of, let's say, certain Hong Kong dollar or Sing dollar into that Thai bank account. Then keep the Thai baht in your bank account, and then when it's time for you to make the final payment, you can use that Thai baht to pay also. But then after that, you need to produce proof that this Thai baht which is inside your bank account actually came from a telegraphic transfer outside of Thailand, which means that foreign currency flowed into Thailand, and Thai baht was converted and placed into that bank account. So that's the only way you can mitigate your exchange rate risk. But I have never advised my clients to do that as well. I always feel that if, let's say, you buy Thai property, the exchange rate risk is something that you have to stomach. Okay, so this exchange rate risk, in my opinion, is the largest risk that you cannot mitigate. Okay, so this is something that everyone must be comfortable with when before they buy a Thai property or before they buy a Bangkok property. Okay, next, right, is political risk. Okay, so this is perhaps the biggest threat to Thailand's economic stability. So you guys know that now now Thailand is under a military government. I would say that it is generally quite peaceful, and I was there during the riots as well. So when I happened to be wearing a red shirt because I think I was a bit I don't know what was I doing, but I was wearing a football jersey that was red in color. Then after that, when they saw me, right, they also just walked past because I'm like totally foreign to them. Like I look like a foreigner. I speak also. I speak English, so they see me, they just go past. The thing about Thailand is that when they have their own riots, right, is the foreigners are all pushed to one side. They don't really bother about the foreigners, and then they go about their own squabbles in their own manner. Okay, and in all honesty, right, I think that the peaceful succession seems to me that Thailand is already a little bit past all those riots whereby some people lost their lives and all that. Okay, and one more thing is that even if a political riot were to take place, and then the tourist numbers were to drop because of this political riot, actually nowadays Thailand, they have already reduced their dependence on tourism. So in the past, right, tourism was the main driver, or like almost the only driver for Thailand's gross domestic product. But now currently, right, Thailand's GDP is also driven by manufacturing and agriculture. Okay, and then if you take a look at how there was actually peaceful handover from the previous king to the current new king, then you see the peaceful succession is actually an indication of, I feel, personal thought, okay, is an indication of how I feel that the Thais, they've already uh, sort of remembered that we don't want those very very ugly riots to take place. And when all my Thai friends, right, they they are not supportive of all this violence to effect any political change. If you want, you should argue it out in a peaceful manner. Okay, and one thing is that political risk, it has nothing to do with us foreigners also. Just like exchange rate risk, is very difficult to mitigate. So if you're not comfortable with political risk, I also think you cannot invest in Thai property. It is something that will be there, and I don't know how long will it be there. It has been there for some time already, but it's difficult to mitigate this risk. But even with this risk, the Thai property market has been relatively stable. The Thai economy has been growing. So the past few years, Thai GDP has been growing at a very 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 encouraging rate. You can see the numbers in my other presentations. Okay, so political risk is a very huge threat, but I feel that in current times uh, it does not affect Thailand as an economic hub as much as it used to do in the past. Okay, so but yet this risk very difficult to mitigate. Be comfortable with it. If not comfortable, really cannot invest in Thai property. Okay. Okay, so then next, right, external risk. Thailand is still very dependent on foreign countries like China and Japan. So you see a lot of, especially the Japanese, they actually come in and they build a lot of things. And China also is putting a lot of work at the Bangsa Grand Station. If you guys have been watching our videos, you will know that we always touch on this One Belt One Road thing, and China building the Bangsa Grand Station together with Thailand, so that over at Bangsa you can actually link all the way to Kunming. There will be 3 lines that will go up to Kunming, and Bangsa Grand Station is really huge. It's 24 parallel lines. So I went on site also, and it was really really very elaborate, and it's going to link to the rest of Thailand and link up to China as well. So because of their dependence on foreign countries like China and Japan, if foreign investment were to drop from these few foreign countries, then Thailand will also be affected. But like us, like that, it has nothing to do with us. We can't do much also, so we can't mitigate this risk. So we have to accept that there is always this risk there that foreign countries like China or Japan may pull out their investments or reduce their investments eventually. Okay, so it's difficult to mitigate this risk as well. Okay, so now we move on to risks that we can mitigate. Okay, so there's actually like a recession risk. Okay, we can't prevent a recession. Okay, Thailand will be affected when there's a global economic slowdown. Tourism is still a significant contributor to its GDP. So what happens when other people, other countries are affected by a global economic slowdown? Let's say like maybe people in Singapore or Malaysia, they feel that it's time to tighten their belt, so they travel less. So Thailand will also be affected, okay, because a lot of tourism is actually foreign tourists, right, coming in to spend their dollar, and then after that boost the Thai economy. Okay, so try to mitigate this risk by doing some market research. Okay, try to buy properties at reasonable prices, and yet I still recommend that buyers buy from larger developers, because I was around when there was a slight dip. As in, I was doing Thai property. I've been handling Thai property for some time already, and I actually saw that certain smaller developers, right, they actually dump unsold stock at prices lower than what the earlier buyers bought. Okay, so like the earlier buyers can buy at like 5 million Thai baht, but when the recession comes, right, the smaller developers will dump at like 4.5 million Thai baht. You would think that you want to wait for a recession, then you pick up all these deals, but trust me, when actually the market was slow and I personally felt that it was low, I told buyers to come in. Very few wanted to listen to me. And some of the developers, even when they lower to 4.5, because of this act of lowering to 4.5 million from 5 million, right, people already lost confidence in them and they didn't want smaller developers stock. So it's actually a cat and mouse game now. So some developers, they're saying that, oh, I'm not going to lower anymore. Then the buyers will be like, oh, never mind, we can just wait for you to lower. So these sort of smaller developers, right, when they dump unsold stock, right, yeah, it's going to look really, really ugly. So normally what I recommend people to do is that buy from a reputable developer. So if let's say you buy early bird discount, it's really early bird discount. That means that you will be buying at the absolute cheapest. So next time when you want to resell, you know that if the developer has increased the price by let's say 5%, you can sell at a 5% increase or maybe more, especially if you had chosen the good units, because during the launch everything is available. So normally I recommend my clients, you really want to buy, you buy during the launch. So you buy during the launch, you can pick certain units, pick all the prime units, okay, pick all the units, like I always tell people, you want to pick good unit, right? Let's say level 1 to level 20. Okay, level 20 got higher ceiling, sky garden, penthouse unit. Then you try to buy the level 20 unit. If you buy like level 10 and then that you're trying to sell more expensive than maybe level 11, how can it be? Because the person above you, right, should sell more expensive than you. So when it's in between, all the units are the same. Sometimes also certain levels, like maybe level 16 is the facility level. So try to pick level 16 or maybe pick level 17 where you overlook the facilities. Then you walk down one level is the facilities already. Or you buy the level whereby that you have a patio, small area in front. Okay, or you buy the ground floor level. Okay, so these are the small little things that I guess before you choose a unit, right, you can contact myself or my colleagues, then we will assist you as well. So try to mitigate this risk by doing market research. Try to buy from a slightly like a more reputable developer, so that small developers tend to dump unsold stock. Then you may not be buying at the lowest, even though you buy at launch. Then you make sure you have the ability to tide through rough times. So don't say that I buy this property. It's not just for Bangkok property, it's for any property. Even like I'm Singaporean, I will still tell my fellow Singaporeans, if you're buying a property in Singapore, make sure you can tide through the rough times. Don't depend on the rental to cover your installment. If you depend on that, then you might get yourself in serious trouble if let's say the recession is a couple of years, pretty long. Then your holding power will really be severely tested. Okay, so this is how you maybe mitigate some recession risk. Okay, then there's this scam risk. It's still quite common in developing countries. I would say that it's less common in Bangkok as compared to maybe places in Phnom Penh or Ho Chi Minh. But that's just from my observation. Okay, don't take my word for it. But previously, I seem to see quite a lot of scams in Bangkok. I mean, I know of some people who are still doing these investment schemes. Okay, the investment scheme actually doesn't seem like anything more than, I mean, it sounds to me like Ponzi, but until it gets busted, then it's proven as a Ponzi. But so like I always mention, like for the properties that we sell, we actually make sure that the buyer is buying the physical title. That means when you transfer the property to your name, you will get actually a physical title. You can actually watch my other explainer videos. I will actually explain to you how does a physical title look like and what must you look out for to when buying a property in Thailand. Okay, so don't go and buy into those things where they tell you, say, you invest in a scheme, then I give you, like maybe you put in 200,000 US dollars to buy a share in this development. Every year I give you 8%. Okay, if 8% is a very attractive rate of return, okay, nobody can guarantee that because it's too high already. Okay, so if your promise a very attractive rate of return, right, please remember that if it sounds too good to be true, right, it most probably is. Okay, most returns nowadays, right, if you can get like yields of like 4-5%, right, it's actually very healthy already. So 4-5%, even if you get a yield of 5%, you need to hold this property and rent it out and not have it vacant for the whole 20 years. Then you take back the the total value of your investment. 5%, because 5% times 20 is 100%. Then you take back 100% of your investment. So 5% yield is really very good already. Don't go and listen to people who tell you, say, I can get for you 10, 12. I've even heard of people who can promise like 20 to 25% rate of return for some Bangkok investment scheme dealing with properties also. So please don't do that. You really want to invest, right? Please look at our website. We have all the properties that we are marketing, right, or we are promoting to our website visitors or our clients, right? They all have the physical title. Okay, so there's a presentation. Please go and watch it, and I have a blog article also about the physical titles in Thailand. Okay, so then non-completion risk is less common these days. That means that you buy the condominium and the condominium does not get completed. Some of it built halfway, then the last part developer run out of money. So usually smaller developers not listed on the Stock Exchange of Thailand. There's this thing called the environmental impact assessment, which is the EIA. So every development in Thailand requires the developer to get this EIA cert. You don't get the EIA cert, you cannot build. The bigger developers, right, normally don't have problem getting the EIA cert. The smaller developers may have some issue with this EIA cert. If let's say you are buying your very first investment in Thailand, right, I normally tell clients, say, please buy from the bigger developers. Somebody who is listed on the Stock Exchange of Thailand. It is really not the same as like maybe in Singapore, whereby the small developer also okay, but over in Thailand, right, there are still instances whereby smaller developers cannot complete the project. And doesn't mean that the development is 2,000 units, right? It means it's a big developer. Doesn't mean that, okay? So try to buy from developers that are listed on the Stock Exchange of Thailand, okay? Okay, and then late completion risk is still common these days. So usually the smaller developers also cannot complete the project on time. Those that are not listed on the Stock Exchange of Thailand, the accountability is less. So you can actually claim late completion charges. It's 4% per annum, but you need to hire a lawyer. So 4% of the price that you pay. Okay, so you can mitigate the risk by buying from larger listed developers. Normally I tell my clients, you want to take this type of risk, right, buying from smaller developers. If you want to buy like a few properties, then maybe one or two you buy from smaller developers, but other than that, try to stick to the larger developers. Okay, then the defects risk. So the quality ranges from developer to developer. This one, through our experience, right, we actually know which developer is dependable. Some developers they handle defects a little bit slower, so the experience is not so good for investors. Doesn't mean that big developer the defects lesser. In fact, some bigger developer, I cannot mention names here, some bigger developers the quality not so good. You want to know experiences, you can ask us personally. This type of thing cannot put up on the internet. Okay, so through experience, right, you can know which developer is dependable. Ask your agent or ask people like myself, I'm agent also. So we know which developer. So after a while, you see, hey, how come we are promoting less and less of these developers projects? Then you know, because for me myself, I sell the property to the client, right? After that, I also need to handle the property for him or her. Then later on, let's say got a lot of defects, then I also will be, I will be very busy handling the defects for the client. So in all honesty, like for us agents, for us when we sell property, we want to hand over a property which is free of defect, which is quite difficult to have free of defect, but at least very, very minimal defects to the buyer. Then the buyer will actually not bother us so much. Then we also can go about and do our other things. I don't want to sell 50 units to buyers and then all 50 units got like, oh, one unit got like 30, 40 defects. Then I will be very busy. Okay, so I'll be very busy, the client also not very happy. So we know which developers are more dependable. That's why certain developers we tend to recommend a bit more. This is one of the key reasons why we are recommending certain developers. Okay, we can sell almost every developer just for you guys information. Okay, so then next risk is no after sales support risk. What happens is that actually this one is quite common. So you actually, some people they actually travel down to Bangkok, right? Then they buy direct from developer. Some even worse, they actually make payment inside the developer's office in Thailand. When actually for foreigners we have to do telegraphic transfer from outside of Thailand to show that foreign money actually flow in. So there's a lot of things which I mean to them the developer or the developer sales staff, right, the main reason why they are there is to transact sales. They're not here to, I mean, yeah, some of them they will tell you or how to do telegraphic transfer and everything. But to close the sale, right, you actually have to place a booking. So you place a booking in Thailand, right? The amount of money that you place a booking in, right? If let's say you pay in Thai baht, right, next time you're going to have problem because that amount cannot form part of payment of the property. Okay, so that is something that after sales is lacking, we feel. That's why we also have an article that teaches buyers how to transfer money from outside of Bangkok into Bangkok, outside of Thailand into Thailand. But the larger developers, right, and what I talk about after sales support, right, is that after you get your keys, do you have somebody to rent out for you or maybe resell the unit for you? So normally the larger developers will have their own in-house real estate agency. So you see the larger ones like recently last week Sansiri just launched. So we talk about Sansiri. Sansiri has an agency called Plus Property. So when you buy from Sansiri, normally the first few times, the first 1 or 2 years, right, they will actually look for tenants or that for our clients. Then after that, our clients may want to come back to us after the first few years. Main reason is because when the condominium is new, right, it's easy for them to go to the multinational corporation, right, the huge company, and say, I got like don't know how many 100 units here. So if you have people coming in, you can actually rent all from us, and then the tenancy all can start at the same time. But as the years go by, right, all the tenancies start and end at different timings. So yeah, that's where people like us, we actually come in, then we start to take over our clients' units, and then after that we start to do the after sales for them. We've been handling all our clients' units. Of course, if let's say you didn't buy from us, then you can also look for us. But I mean, I must tell you with a caveat, like if you didn't buy from us, right, we need to take care of our own client units first. Then after that, then we will come over to your unit. So it's not that our response is slow, it's just that we have a duty to our clients who bought from us to handle their units first. So if I got a tenant in the same development, right, let's say my client bought XT Payatai or XT Hui Guang from me, then you bought from someone else. I got to handle my clients one first, so I need to keep them happy. Yeah, then so you can mitigate risk by contacting a responsible real estate agent, by doing your groundwork, or you can market the unit yourself. So if let's say you want to look for a real estate agent, let's say your unit is in like maybe Akamai, you can walk around the real estate agencies, the shops, right? The underneath the shop house or something, there are real estate agents there. Then you can approach them and say, I got a unit nearby, be 1 or 2 soi away. I want to sell, I want to rent. Then they will look after the unit for you. Okay, if not, then you can always come back to us. You buy from us, then we will ask you whether you want to resell or you want to rent it out. So we'll settle for you. Okay, so there are other risks like succession risk, which means that in the event that the owner of the Thai property passes away, then how? I just did a presentation and an article on writing a will, how to will your property, and what happens if you don't will your property in Thailand. Please go and read. I think it was just the previous explainer video. There's a blog article as well. So fire and theft, right? You can buy insurance. When you go to the bank to open your bank account, the banker most probably will ask you, you want to buy insurance or not? Most of my clients, they open the bank account before the completion of the property. So they'll say, I don't need to insure anything because my house is not completed yet. So when your house is completed, then you go back to the bank and tell them, say, okay, now I want to buy insurance. Insure against what? Fire and theft. Okay, so they provide at the bank. If let's say you have a mortgage with the bank, then the bank will require you to purchase mortgage insurance. So let's say the owner passes away or for some accident or whatsoever, becomes disabled, then the insurance will kick in and the mortgage will be paid off. So then there are other risks like bad tenants. This is something that we try to mitigate. Your agent has to do proper screening for you, but in all honesty, we won't know. Sometimes the profile sounds very good, but then the tenant also not so nice, don't take care of the house so well. But generally, if you buy in good areas, right, then your tenants will be better. So that's why I normally tell my clients, I say, hey, you try to buy in areas like Thong Lo, Ekamai, Pong Pong, then Onu. These are very residential areas. Families will want to live there. Good individuals will live there. So these are the other risks. Okay, so just a bit about ourselves. So why is it that we normally I always tell my clients we are sort of impartial because most developers also look for us to try to ask us whether we got buyers to recommend to them. Therefore, we deal with quite a lot of developers in Bangkok. We actually provide after sales service, so rental and resale. I also don't want to sell somebody some property next time very hard to rent or very hard to sell, right? Then our teammates also got problem. Okay, what we do is that here at Invest Bangkok Property is that we conduct site visits, property reviews and comparisons. You are watching a video on our YouTube channel now, so if you like our video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We actually hold regular monthly seminars. Currently, right, we are holding it in Singapore. There are plans to actually hold seminars in Hong Kong or Malaysia, but that will be coming up pretty soon. Regular monthly seminars have been around for I don't know how long already, but like more than a year or something like that. So every month we'll be holding. I think maybe this is the 10th installment or 12th installment of the monthly seminar, or more than that. I can't remember. So every first Saturday of the month we'll hold monthly seminars at East Coast along East Coast Road. The details are all on our website. So first Saturday of every month afternoon, you're keen, just sign up at the link in our website. Okay, and then we hold quarterly Bangkok property tours. So during the property tour, we actually bring clients to see various developers' units. We will not be seeing one only. We will cherry pick which we think have good investment value and good quality developers, then we recommend to clients. We try to see different areas, and we also try to explain to everyone what type of tenant you can get and where you are. So the next property tour, right, is actually happening end of this month, the 28th to 30th September. It's a 3-day thing. We don't book we don't book the flight for you. We don't book the hotel for you. All you need to do is to stay near Asok BTS. The itinerary is actually in the link. What we'll do is that we'll go to different developers' projects, which developers are all in the link also, and we'll take public transport. The main reason is because we've been holding property tours, right, and we've been getting everyone very comfortable in the van. So what happens is that after everyone see all the properties already, right, then they say, oh, I don't know how far is it from the BTS. Okay, never mind. This time round, right, we will walk. So we will take public transport, we will walk. Once in a while, right, to get to and fro places, right, we may take Grab or taxi, okay, to get to another place. Or if let's say it's in between some developers, right, units, right, we may ask the developer to provide us with some transport. Okay, but generally we'll be taking public transport and we'll be walking from the BTS. So it's very important because as property investors, we want to buy properties which are near the train station. Okay, and this time around we actually tie up with two bloggers. One is actually Aaron Mamak, another one is Stranger in Bangkok. So there are two bloggers who will bring the attendees around on a food tour as well. So you get to know people from different nationalities. We're trying to keep the group, we don't need the group to be too big. So quite a few have registered. We haven't tallied how many people. Okay, so if you're keen, right, please contact Kevin or myself. We prefer to be contacted via WhatsApp. Okay, so if you guys can contact us via WhatsApp, we will respond pretty quickly. Yeah, if let's say you really want to email us your questions or whatsoever, you can email to Kevin at investbangkokproperty.com or my own name, Daryl, at investbangkokproperty.com. I write a lot of articles on investing in Bangkok, retiring in Thailand and all that. So you can go to my personal blog. It's actually daryllam.com. Yeah, so if you have any questions, you want us to do a presentation or something, you please post to us. If we find that it's really useful, we'll do a very comprehensive presentation like this one. We'll try to answer every single reasonable question. If we can't answer straight away, we will actually look for answers, contact legal assistance or some government bodies, or ask around for the correct people for the answer, and then we try to put it on our YouTube so that everybody watches and everyone learns together. Okay, so this has been Daryl on behalf of Kevin and myself. Thanks for listening to this presentation about the risk in investing in Bangkok property. Do keep us in mind. Remember to subscribe to our channel. If you like this video, please, there's a thumbs up button somewhere. Please give us a thumbs up. Got any comments, please feel free to comment and we'll get back to you. Okay, so that's our contact numbers. Thanks a lot, everyone.